So when a business climate is easy, then you get domestic direct investment kick-started, you get foreign direct investment coming into your market. So these are the tidying of the housekeeping that Nigerian economy needs to be positioned ready for that inflow of capital. We need to retain Nigerian capital because we're actually losing Nigerian investors to investing in Ghana, Rwanda. Very much concerned. The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission has been doing a lot of work in making sure that deep pockets in Nigeria retain investments, actually spend their money and invest in Nigeria because that's what gives us jobs. Now, foreign direct investment comes to Nigeria when the climate is good. Already, even when we had a challenging climate, just when the fundamentals are so strong, we have a lot of good demographics going for us. We have a young population, we have a large market, we have oil, a lot of things that have made us traditionally one of the highest FDI receptors on the continent. In fact, we were top for a number of years before the oil price fell. Now, when we have things ready, things like our FX policies and all those kind of things in place, and we come out of recession, then we're business ready. If our climate is friendly, then you can imagine all the opportunity cost, all the capital that has gone elsewhere because it can't deal with a harsh terrain. All that capital will then come into the economy.
You know, I've got people who are already asking, they tried to register a name, a business name, but it failed. And that's because it was just one name that was similar to another. And so now they wonder, if they were to go to CAC now, is this portal up and running? Can they try it out and it works straight away? And how long would that take?
Okay, so the problem with our registry is that it was manual, of course, for a number of years. Yeah. And they're still kind of scanning the backlog. So you have a situation, there have been some issues of companies that have even registered names, only for later down the line to discover that back in the archives, there's a dormant company that has the same name. Now, when you raise that, the registry has to look and probably delist a company that has ceased to exist, or, you know, the promoters are long dead. But you have that transition period. Also, you have the technology aspect. We've been working hard with CAC to get that portal stable and to get their servers hosted by a private entity. And that process is almost completed. Now, what that would do is that the uptime would be about 99%. And when the uptime is up, then you can do your search, you can reserve your name. When you do the search, all the names that have already been scanned onto the portal would come up, and then you know, and that's really started from the most recent. So really the names that are not on the system are the older companies.
So you can do that right now?
You can do it now.
I can log on now, and then you can just check out a name and reserve a name right now.
The CAC website, you can check it out. You can reserve a name. Fingers crossed the portal is up, I'll kill them. No, really, it's been, I mean, we've had a number of demo trials. It's not yet perfect, but this is where we're going to.
What about banks? How are you working with banks? Because in most cases, this payments cannot be done online. It has to be somewhat in a bank. I know that I think it was JAM. They were complaining at some point how banks were supposed to set up some form, but that didn't happen, and so the heat came back to JAM. Are the banks, or are you working with the banks on this?
So for CAC right now, they use the remitter. You know, they have the TSA. So what we're trying to, one of the next steps will be to get them authorized to work with commercial banks. You can pay online, but it has to be the remitter.
Okay.
So right now, yeah.
Are you encouraged or discouraged when, in spite of all of this about doing business, we still don't have power?
Yeah, I think in Nigeria, when you're talking business, you can't but talk infrastructure, right. The hard infrastructure, top of which is power, and then you have the ports, the airports, the seaports, rail transportation, the lack of that, roads. So when you're really in manufacturing, in the real sector, or in agriculture, in agribusiness, we're losing a colossal amount of money because of the challenges. But that is one area that the government has prioritized from day one. If you look at the budget, the spending, you listen to the Minister of Transport working very hard on rail. You listen to the Minister of Power Works and Housing, working very hard on roads that are feeder roads, working with the Ministry of Agriculture, making sure that goods can come from farm to market, goods can go from factory to ports for exports. It's a challenge, yes. It can be discouraging when you are trying so hard to make an impact, but there's still some restraint, there's still some constraints. But I don't think that's a reason not to try. I think it's a reason to continue trying, and knowing that all these things are complementary. I can tell you that the administration is working very hard, know about these problems, and these softer things that the administration has taken on, in addition to those known hard challenges, can only make the business climate more conducive for everyone.
If you had to give it a timeline, what are you looking at?
For what now?
For the infrastructure to come on stream, just so it's able to support your document, your working document?
Well, different ministers have different timelines. I think if you look at the Nigerian Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, you see in there some of the timelines of what specific interventions different ministries will be doing. But this speaks to if you look at the plan, there's a part on competitiveness of the economy, and that is where this project sits. And you can even have all your infrastructure and still not be a competitive economy if you are not making sure that the soft infrastructure is there for people, access to information, ease of regulations, the speed and the cost of doing business, and the transparency.
What happens to customer service? Does it feature at any point in time? Because there are lots of people who get an item, maybe there's a factory fault, you can't even have anybody attend to you, even both in the public, even in some private firms. Is there any area, anywhere that features in this ease of doing business plan?
Definitely. I don't think we can really work on ease of doing business as a government without working on our people issues. The head of the civil service is a member of the council, because it is through the MDAs, through the ministries, departments and agencies that these reforms are implemented. So the council, I've mentioned a couple of times, it's a temporary, we're not a new agency. We're like a project office that are helping alongside MDAs